The movie begins with a family living in a countryside farmhouse. The family consists of a mother and 2 children. The mother's name is Ramona, the elder son is Taylor, and the younger daughter is Annie. From the initial scenes, we learn that Ramona and her late husband, David, had renovated this place with great effort and love. However, some time ago, David died in a car accident, and Ramona was so severely injured that she now needs a walker to move. We also understand that David was driving during the accident, which happened due to a wet road. Now, because Ramona was physically and mentally devastated, we see her struggling to manage the household. For instance, she wakes up saying, "Give me strength." In fact, Taylor handles all the chores, playing with their dog Charlie, feeding the chickens, making breakfast for the family, and more. Ramona was so overwhelmed that the house lacked proper groceries, dog food, and even electricity. Her phone had no charge, so she couldn't call for help. She frequently lashed out at Taylor, frustrating him. Overall, viewers clearly see that Ramona was failing to care for her family due to her physical and mental state. After breakfast, Ramona notices a woman in a black dress, fully covered, sitting on the farm's bench outside. She tells Taylor and Annie to stay inside and goes to confront the woman. The woman says bizarre things like, "How did I get here? What's your name? Your house needs repairs." Things get creepy when the woman looks at Ramona's broken leg and wrecked car, correctly guessing that Ramona's husband died in the accident. She even tells Ramona, "Disappear. Your children are ripe enough to eat. Today is the day. You called me, and I came." Ramona gets terrified and notices the woman's blood-stained hands, implying she killed their chickens. Ramona rushes to her car to charge her phone and call the police, but the car won't start. She grabs a flashlight from the garage and returns inside. The kids ask about the woman, but Ramona stays silent. Taylor grows suspicious and starts questioning her aggressively. Ramona behaves erratically, smashing a cup, losing her temper, and locking the house down. We also see a flower petal stuck in Ramona's leg wound, a small detail with significance we'll discuss later. Meanwhile, Annie keeps writing the letter R backward, another recurring motif. The woman in black remains seated outside. Ramona notices their dog, Charlie, is missing but doesn't tell the family. Her frustration escalates, leading to heated arguments with Taylor. She even snaps at Annie for writing backward, then instantly regrets it and hugs her, but in the mirror, Ramona hallucinates stabbing Annie, though in reality, she had only stabbed a pillow. Taylor, shocked, realizes he must act since his mother is mentally unstable. When Annie gets a minor injury, Ramona tends to her, giving Taylor a chance to sneak out and drive to a neighbor's farm for help. But the car won't start. Ramona catches him, leading to another fight. Meanwhile, the woman in the yard moves closer. Taylor learns Charlie is missing and that Ramona is hiding something. At this point, he's had enough. He locks himself in a room to retrieve his father's gun. Ramona tries to stop him, but in the chaos, the woman's shadow grows larger, creeping into the house. Taylor grabs the gun and confronts her, demanding she leave. The woman removes her black veil, revealing her face, and says, "Your mother lied to you." "About what?" "We'll find out soon." Her shadow manipulates the environment, proving she has supernatural control. Taylor confronts Ramona about the accident's truth. She confesses. On the night of the accident, Ramona and David had gone to a fancy dinner. Ramona was upset because she hated farm life, even though she had wanted to leave the city. David had moved the family to the farm to make her happy, but she still complained. That night, Ramona was driving, not David. She saw the woman in the yard in the rearview mirror, got distracted, and crashed. David died. She survived. She lied to the kids, saying David was driving to avoid blame. The woman in the yard attacks the house using shadows. The family hides in the attic, but the woman's shadow tries to drag Annie away. Taylor blocks the window, stopping the shadow. The woman possesses Ramona. Then she starts moving toward Annie. At one point, this woman and her ghostly shadow hug Annie, and in the very next moment, Annie had disappeared. Now Taylor was alone, but immediately, we see Ramona returning and the two of them begin searching for Annie. While searching, Ramona reaches a room through a strange door where again we see a scene from the past. In this scene, David is present and quite happy because their farmhouse had been completed and it had Ramona's favorite flowers in the farm, irises. They were thinking of naming the house, and Ramona also moved close to David and hugs him, but suddenly, David was no longer there. Then David reappears and attacks Ramona. Absurd scene. Then Ramona suddenly blacks out and in the next moment finds herself in a yard wearing a black dress, and she sees herself in front of her. This is the same scene when Ramona had confronted the woman in the yard for the first time, but the twist here is that this time, Ramona herself was kind of stuck in the black dress. Why this happened? We are getting closer and finding this out. We see that the black-dressed Ramona starts pulling her own veil, kind of like she's stuck in it, a drowning-like impression, and the normal Ramona this time says, "Today is the day." The scene cuts here, and Ramona finds herself under attack again where Taylor and Annie were both present. When they go downstairs, the woman in the yard appears again and Ramona threatens her with a gun. At this point, that woman says that Ramona herself called her. Every morning Ramona used to say, "Give me strength." The question is, strength to do what? As it turns out, Ramona was asking for strength to do something wrong, take her own life, because she had completely given up on life, and this woman in the yard came to help her do what she didn't have the courage to. Whispering. You prayed for strength every morning, but strength to do what? Ramona realizes. She's a failed mother. Taylor does all the work. Her negativity manifested as this woman. She wanted the strength to end her life. In the climax, 1. Ramona sends the kids away to the neighbor's farm. 2. She faces the woman alone, who is her own dark reflection. 3. The woman urges her to finish what she started. We can deduce 2 alternate endings. 1. Ramona survives, optimistic ending. She defeats her dark thoughts. The family reunites, lights come back, Charlie returns. The farm's name, Iris Haven, is shown, a symbol of hope. 2. Ramona dies, dark ending. The happy ending is an afterlife illusion. We can conclude these from the following. Her painting is signed backward, mirror world. Charlie and chickens return as they died earlier. Iris Haven equals afterlife paradise. Backward are Ramona's fractured mind. Flower petals, iris flowers, her favorite, planted by David. Shadow powers, her intrusive thoughts controlling reality. So the final verdict, the woman in the yard was never real, just Ramona's guilt and depression manifesting. The film explores mental health, grief, and how negativity consumes us, and how often the compounded effect of these feelings push one to edge of blurred reality, and how it can affect solid relationships built out of love and faith. Mental health is really important, and it alone can improve or deteriorate your physical defects, if any, or your health. So be happy, put a smile on that beautiful face. Yes, it's difficult, and everyone's plate is full with all their problems and sorrows, but there's always a gradual way to paradise. Okay, now from the first impressions of trailer, I actually thought Ramona might have an abusive husband or such, or they had a growing problems driving them apart, and in order to find a way out she does some dark arts, as in a forbidden magic spell or a ritual, but in the end things get better with her husband, or somehow she regrets and tries to undo it, but it's too late, and then the woman in yard comes to collect her due in the form of her kids. This was more of a cinematic horror thriller setting film for entertainment. It was a bummer at first, but when you realize the more realistic ending, it makes goddamn sense, as people will 100% relate to it in some magnitude to the deeper meaning of the movie. Thank you. Which theory do you believe? Flesh it down in the comments.